What's going on, guys? If you all are getting tons of unqualified leads through Meta, I'm going to show you exactly how we overcome this with every single one of my accounts that I work with right now. Let's go ahead, jump right into it. A lot of people talk about unqualified Meta leads. One of the things that people say is like, is Meta dead? Is my ad account? In all reality, yes, some things can have a part to play, a new ad account and whatnot, but Meta is still one of the best performing platforms when it comes to any sort of lead generation. It does work. You have to have the right systems in place in order for it to work. So these are probably the most common concerns. Obviously, there are multiple other concerns out there on like why your leads wouldn't be qualified, but for the big three, these are typically it. First one being your leads aren't educated enough, meaning basically people are jumping on sales calls and saying like, I still need to think about it, or I just saw you guys the other day. These are really two big objections that you'll get when somebody is not educated enough. And by educated, they just haven't seen enough of your content. They don't see you as the prime resource in your industry. For example, if somebody came on social media and was like, hey, I can help you scale your business, and then you have Alex Ramosi who said the exact same thing, hey, I can help scale your business, which one are you going to trust more? Alex Ramosi or this random guy that's talking on social media? Well, it depends. Alex Ramosi, more than likely, is probably going to get chosen, but it's because he's been posting content. People have been educated on exactly his strategies, structures, systems through his YouTube, long form, short form, his podcast. And so what ends up happening is a lot of people just start their ads and then just assume that you're going to get the highest quality leads that know exactly who you are. And in all reality, that's just not how it is. So how do you build more of that trust? It's pretty straightforward. Retargeting ads are one of the best ways to do this, especially if you don't want to create a lot of content and be posting consistently. What I do on a retargeting campaign is I will run a retargeting campaign. I will target the last 90-day website visitors. So anybody that's visited my website in the last 90 days, anybody that has visited my Instagram profile within the last 7 days, and anybody that's engaged with my Facebook page or my Instagram page within the last 365 days. All of those people, once they obviously fall into any of those baskets, they will get hit with nothing but testimonial ads. That is it. This is one of the easiest ways to build trust and educate people on your services. And that goes in line with case studies as well. If you just throw a bunch of those on there, I know they might be very blah pieces of content to you and what you might think, but something as simple as a selfie of one of your clients giving you a testimonial, or you going through a Word document about a case study of how you scale the business from 0 to 100K, how you've been able to scale multiple businesses from $50,000 to $1 million a month. Those kind of things add so much value to the client. In addition, your long form content matters a lot. I know short form content is so easy because you can obviously get a lot of it out, and long form content does take a lot more time, but the long form content speaks dividends. It makes it so much easier to close clients that are coming from your YouTube versus your short form content. It's because people have actually expended a lot more time and effort watching your stuff. You basically build a relationship with them when they're sitting there for 15, 20, 30 minutes to an hour versus a 20-second piece of content. Next thing up is bad pixel optimization. This kind of goes in line with your qualification system just not being right. A lot of people will send leads directly from an ad to a form, maybe to a booking page, and then from there they send that pixel event back to Facebook. The reason why this doesn't help is because you're basically teaching Facebook to send you the wrong leads. Basically what Facebook does is when you tell it that, hey, I want website schedules or I want leads, what Facebook's gonna do is it's gonna give you the cheapest cost per lead or cheapest cost per book call or appointment that it can possibly get. Because it knows that, hey, if I get you a cheaper cost per book call or whatever the case is, you're gonna spend more money on the platform. However, that's not necessarily how it works on our side as the business owner, because what we want is we don't want to talk to everybody. We want to talk to people that actually genuinely want to buy our stuff. But the problem is if you keep telling Facebook it's doing a good job by saying, hey, you got a calendar booking, you got a calendar booking, you got a calendar booking, what you need to do is you need to now filter that out. What you can do is build a scoring system in place. This is going to give you, I mean, honestly, if you can take anything away from this video, this would probably be the number one thing I can take away, because it's basically almost free to implement. You can utilize Go High Level, you can use Typeform to do this. But basically what you're going to do is once somebody comes from an ad, they're going to fill out some sort of qualification or some form after watching maybe your VSL, or maybe they go directly to the form. Based upon that form, what you'll have is like a scoring system. They won't know that the form is scored, but you will. Let's say, for example, you have 5 questions on that form. What you're going to do is you're going to assign points to each question. So let's say, for example, I'm a marketing agency. Question number 1 is, are you a business owner? Yes, no. If they say yes, they get 1 point. If they say no, they get 0 points. What are you currently doing for gross revenue? $0 a month. They get a 0, right? If they get, say they're making $10,000 a month to $20,000 a month, so they get 1 point. If they say are making $100,000 a month, then they get 3 points. So what happens is as they answer these questions, these points will get added to a total score. That score will determine if they're going to go to a sales calendar or if they're going to go to a setter calendar. Okay, so now what you're doing is you have control of the exact clients that you want to end up on your sales team's calendar. And you're also only firing an event back to Meta only when somebody books on the sales team calendar. But if they go to a setter calendar, like let's say, for example, in this case, if they score a 4 or more, they're going to go to a sales team calendar. If they score below a 4, they're going to go to a setter calendar to then be triaged to then go to a sales calendar. What this is going to do is it's going to start giving you better quality leads. I would say if you give it like a week to run, you're going to start noticing much, much better quality leads just by at least being able to filter out the bottom of the barrel leads that you do not want in your funnel or do not want to waste any time. The next big one is leads not being financially qualified in order to buy your guys' stuff. Maybe, they filled out your form, they had 5 or 6 in this case. Like let's say they got a 6 on this sheet, which pushed them to a sales team calendar. There's a very big likelihood that people will lie, unfortunately, about income, their budget, or whatever your questions you're asking. So what you need, especially in a financial qualification status, is somehow to get authentic, real-time data of their financial standpoint. Income, credit score, all that kind of good stuff. Easiest way to fix this, Fanbasis. Fanbasis is awesome. They have a qualifier that you can install and it integrates directly with all the CRMs that are out there. I know at least Go High Level, because that's the one that I utilize when I'm implementing this in it. But basically what Fanbasis does is once somebody fills out their first name, last name, phone number, and email, what happens is Fanbasis runs all that information through their system in order to acquire their credit score, income, available credit limit. The good part about this is what you can do is you can utilize this information to also control those API events being fired. Back to kind of like what we were doing here. So instead of them just getting a score 4 or more once they fill out the form, they'll instantly also be able to get the credit score. So what you can do is you can say, only send them to a sales calendar if they score 4 or more. Their credit score is above a 650. They have a credit limit of $1,000 or more. And based upon those, then they can go to a sales team calendar, which would then fire that API event. If they don't hit those 3 metrics, then they go to a setter calendar. And this would be like the easy, especially if you're getting a lot of people that just come on the call. They're better qualified, but they just don't have the financial wherewithal in order to do it. This would easily fix that problem. And Fanbasis, they do have, it's like a couple $1,000s to set up, initiate the setup. But from there, it's about like $1 to $2 for everybody that you run through the system. What you can do to kind of like filter out, instead of having to pay $2, say for example, you're getting like 100 leads a day, but you're only getting 30 bookings a day. What I would do is I would only have it run this qualifier only on the people that are trying to book appointments. That way you're not necessarily having to pay $2 times 100, 200. You're only paying like $60 in that case. And then that also helps your sales team out, because like if you're doing follow-ups or if you have setters that are going out there and calling up your lead list, they can start prioritizing people based upon higher credit scores, higher credit limits, and they can prioritize those within your CRM. Hopefully this helps you guys. Honestly, if you add in these handful of options into your guys' business, your business is definitely going to be performing much, much better on a meta ads perspective. I also break all these down into much, much more detail. Right below here in the description, I have my Lead Gen Experts program. We host a call every Thursday, and there's a bunch of free value in there. Or just keep taking a look at all my YouTube videos and gather as much information as you can. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.